So it's about to be 2023, and the real estate market is changing right in front of us with interest rates changing and inventory changing. There's all this recession talk, and I'm not an economist, but you see the evidence of that happening day to day in the real estate industry. So, what are the top things that real estate leaders need to focus on in 2023? All right. How's that for an intro, Chris?
Love it.
Love it. So, Chris, ladies and gentlemen, today on today's episode of the Hustling Agent podcast, we are switching up the format, kind of first time ever. And I have a very special guest, and it's the man behind the scenes, always, Chris Murillo, with us. And I like Chris being on these. So we're just going to give it a shot and see how it goes. Chris, what do you got to say?
I'm always kind of there. Like I'm always present for the podcast, but it's the first time where I'm actually having to like engage and respond to everything you're saying.
Yes, good. So, we're always trying to create good content and diverse content, and also like to educate the audience, whether it's on YouTube or on an audio, broadcast service. We're always trying to educate, and it's about to be 2023. And both as a coach and a real estate leader myself, there are things that we need to be focusing on. Always is trends. How about consumer behavior and the economy and just people always? So I think kind of what we're going to talk about is going to be really important for people to just listen to and, reflect on.
No matter the business.
No matter the business, honestly. So let's go ahead and get started. So the number one thing, not in any specific order, it could be the 10th thing, could be the 6th thing. But the first thing that we're going to talk about is building a strong company culture. So a strong company culture is important. You want to make it a cool place to work. That's going to help you keep the good people there and also just have a positive work environment.
And attract better people.
And
people.
attract, for our purpose, more performing real estate agents, higher productivity. Some of the ways that I think we do that is we are fun. It's modern place. I think our vibe definitely attracts our tribe, right? Which is a diverse crew. I mean, we got multiple of everything.
I like that. I like tribe. Tribe is a good way to put it.
For sure. And, like something else that, we have enough meetings and we use inter-office, the communicative tools like Slack, the communication tools like Slack. We do have get-togethers. We do have opportunities for people to come to the office and collaborate. Dale has that agent roundtable, and we do, lunch and learns all the time. And also, I think people really know, maybe this is a question for you, is do people know what it means to me to have somebody work there? Do you think people know that or no?
Like in like the sense that like people feel that they know how important they are to you.
Oh, maybe that's interesting. That's an interesting thing too. But I mean, do people know that working at Big Block means that I expect them to be on the team more specifically? Do you think that makes people know the expectation of like hard work or no?
I'd imagine, I mean, and it's interesting, since my indoctrination, with the company is very different than like a real estate agent's.
I know.
But I'd imagine that that's something that comes up right away during the recruiting process. I'd imagine that like, you're setting expectations from the get-go with the way that you even present yourself and the way that you um, interact with them and the questions that you ask them. Because I can't imagine that you would bring somebody onto the team if they weren't a fit. So I think that right away, you're already setting that precedent, and I think that with, the amount of marketing that we do and stuff, that people who decide that they want to be a part of the team are doing the Googling and, looking at our YouTube channel and our socials and are seeing the amount of work that
You hope so. It's hard to tell what people do nowadays, man.
That's true. Yeah. But I mean, I can't imagine somebody would join, somebody going to the best Sac Homes Group would be doing it blindly.
What do you think about the office culture that we have over there at the big block office? I mean, you're there, what, like maybe 6 hours a week?
Yeah, if that, yeah.
Which is fine. I'm not giving him shit, guys. I'm just saying he just happens to be.
Hey.
Yeah, he has his good computer and stuff at home. That's where I would keep it too. It makes sense, right?
No, I mean, I remember the first time walking through it, like seeing the rock and roll posters. I remember asking who put those there, and I remember hearing that it was you and Christine, I think, also. So no, like, I mean, immediately you're setting the vibe for the place, but there's also like all these inspirational posters everywhere, the green walls, it just has kind of like if you've never been there, like for the viewers, if you've never been there, the best way to describe it is just kind of like edgy. If you can see behind Sunit there, he's kind of a metalhead. So the whole office just kind of, it feels almost like your cave, for you. Like, man cave is the wrong word, because like that insinuates like, there's like a video game thing over here and like, entertainment center, but it's like the businessman's man cave is kind of what it feels like. It just feels like a place to go where you have literally everything that you need. We have a green room. If you wanted to be a part of the team and come and make your own content, you have lights, microphones, everything that you need, and it's all something that was provided for, because you see that value in that. And I think that the whole office vibe just gives off the we're here for you, but let's get to work as a
so that sounds like a good culture then, right?
Yeah.
Good. So the first thing, build a strong company culture. The second thing, in no particular order, I may say that every time, just FYI.
Well, now
that I said that. Now I'm going to.
Yep.
Setting clear goals and objectives. And this comes multifaceted answer. If you're active in a real estate office, or team brokerage, or loan mortgage company, if you're active in any kind of sales environment where you're doing sales, a part of every year, it's been programmed into us, is this goal planning. And I'm not going to do a podcast about how to set your goals, because I don't think there's any specific way. I know ways that I've tried. I know ways that I've heard about. I know ways that I tried to do, and we're just not going to go down there. But if you're in leadership, you should give the opportunity for the agents in your organization to publicly declare their goals. And we do that. Let's go to the board. It's an exercise that we do. So that's done. Have your agents set goals, make it some kind of activity. I like, let's go to the board for the agents. I used to do 1-3-5. I learned it from Keller Williams. There's a bunch of different ways. So that's that. Now let's talk about as a leader and in the organization.
Maybe for those people who don't know what that is, maybe just like in like a sentence or two, what is the let's go to the board?
Is a sentence or two. I should be able to do that. It's like an exercise, a collaborative group exercise where the participants are getting up and publicly sharing like what their number, commitment, and activity and level of accountability that they want.
Do you think that helps? Do you think that affects, like, if you didn't do that, do you think there would be like significantly less output from the agents?
It's hard to say because I've always done it. I don't know. I would hope to say that it works because I
I'd
tell people
imagine
it
that.
works. I coach people that it works, and I felt that it works for the office. Setting clear goals and objectives, and we just talked about how we do it for agents. Let's talk about for the organization. If you're a leader and a business owner, are you need to have some type of goals for the next year, next quarter. Let's set some goals, some smart, attainable goals. You know, and there's an acronym SMART: specific, measurable, actionable, relevant, time bound, and that's important. Break it down into milestones, track your progress. Um, I talked to so many business leaders who, did a bunch of goal setting activities for their organization, for their agents, for their salespeople, but not for the organization. And I think that's a miss. So once again, this isn't a call about how to do this. I'm telling you that maybe find a way to do it. You could find it on YouTube. I probably have other videos out there about it on Instagram, but find a way and do it. Chris, you were part of that exercise we did a couple of weeks ago where
Yeah.
the team collaboratively met. And what do you think about that exercise?
So I mean, the first thing is, other than my previous job, never in my life have I been part of a company that did that sort of goal setting, like in a way that was like, you're given 2 weeks and, you want clear, concise answers with evidence and how you're going to track that all. I wasn't used to that except for my previous job, which I think says a lot about company culture in general. I think
Yeah,
I
it
think
goes
there's a
back to it.
reason why the best Sac Homes Group, is in the top spot in the area, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that you are always so foresighted. You're always looking ahead. But as for like the overall experience, I think it's incredibly important. I can't imagine how a company could become successful without knowing where you're going. Otherwise you're just rowing blind and there's no real growth that's going to come. It's just
Where are you
more
going
of
to
the
end up?
same.
You don't
Yeah.
have any fucking direction.
Well, and if you're
Jim
the type of
Rohn, you're
leader
like a
that's,
ship in the night, dude. You're just
yeah,
fucking floating.
and if you're the type of leader that doesn't do that sort of stuff, well, then you're just going to become stagnant, right? Like if you're not doing that type of work and setting goals and challenging yourself, how do you expect the company to become more profitable?
I don't know.
So I mean, I think that experience is important. Yeah, yeah, I think like 100% necessary if you want your company to continue to grow, especially especially if you're a real estate company of any kind, if you're in the real estate industry, and especially in 2023.
Yeah, for sure. All right, next. And this kind of goes with what we just said. So I'm going to mix up the order. Embracing technology and innovation. Now, I don't know what to say here because I've always embraced every piece of technology and I've been super innovative in every industry I've been involved in, super innovative in cannabis, and it definitely helped. And I was super innovative in real estate, and it definitely helped. I've leveraged every piece of software I get my hands on. It's in December, and the owner call action stopped by my house earlier. Like one of the first pieces of software that I embraced and mangled to make it, something powerful. So if you're not embracing technology, like we don't need to spend a lot of time, you're going to get left behind.
100%.
Do we need to say anything about AI? I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that fear AI at the moment, and I think whether or not you agree with, the ideals behind AI, whether or not you feel that it's like stealing from somebody or whatever, it's here, and you can either learn how to use it and make it part of your skill set, because it's only going to enhance your work. It's not going to take it from you. Obviously it's going to affect some sectors, but I think that if you want to be successful in today's world, you need to be embracing all the technology, including AI.
All of it. How
It
about a
can make you
website?
faster. It can make you do better at what you already do. Like for marketing for us, like AI, all it does is enhance and help us and aid us. It's like having an assistant that we don't have to pay for.
And if you want to learn more about how to leverage AI in your business, we're doing a webinar January 5th. I don't know if this will be up by then. we're doing a webinar January 5th, and then go to my link in bio or my website for more information on how to use AI in your business. But yes, embrace technology and innovation. If you don't want to, then nothing I'm going to say is convince you to. If you don't know the reasons to, you should. It's not shiny object syndrome. So let's be super clear there. I am definitely a victim of our, not victim, I don't know. I have shiny object syndrome. I also work really hard
The amount
and
of
make some
text
money.
that I get from you with
Yeah.
like, check out this app, check out this app.
Yeah.
That's one thing I noticed about you very quickly was that you were very quick to like, no, this could help. Cause like, you know, sure, like, you know, like, ooh, fancy new app, but like one out of, you know, I don't know, every 5, 1 out of every 10 is going to be an app that is game changing. Like,
Yeah.
for sure.
Jasper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was
And
one of
I
the
will
first
admit that
ones.
I was not somebody who was like, I don't need Jasper. Like, I mean, in some weird ways, and this is just a realization moment for me. In some weird way, I probably felt threatened by it for the same reason that a lot of other people. You know, where I'm like, wait, what does that mean? I don't have job security? Like, you want me to work with a robot? But it has completely changed what we do.
Dude, you can get a full health plan and a workout plan in 2 seconds. I was talking to my trainer yesterday. Anyways. All right. Check out my
What
course.
did that say? As you're drinking Nitro Care. That's what it looked like it said.
I don't know. What's it say? It's just it's KitchenAid.
Oh, it just said, nope.
And
Not even
I've never
close.
even looked at what it said. It was a free
Yeah.
glass from the workout store. Okay, so embrace technology. The listeners, not the viewers, what are they talking about? I was holding a glass, a shaker glass. That's what I like to drink out of because it's, you know, plastic and just old. Keep it easy. All right, next. We started out with building a strong company culture, setting clear goals and objectives, embracing technology and innovation. And the next one, fostering collaboration and communication. And I don't know if we really need to go back to it, but it's kind of going back to what we said. That's what I said, right? Like with the goals is we collaboratively did this exercise. And
like even just having that like open door policy. You know,
open door policy. We try and do one-on-ones with the agents. Like we do wellness checks and like there is that communication. And I'm clear. I may not be super accessible. However, we've created systems and I have the support to leverage my accessibility.
everybody
To
knows
say
what you're
that,
trying to.
yeah, to say that simpler, like you can't reach me, but you can reach somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I did have somebody reach out to me and say, hey, I'm in a pickle. Can you talk? I said, no. No. But here's 3 people who are working right now. It happens to be Christmas Eve, and I'm like 3 glasses of wine deep.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I don't want to talk anyway. Before people think, what? Or someone samples this. But I mean, I think a good way that we foster collaboration and communication is just by the amount of meetings and different face-to-faces, even during COVID. Chris, I didn't go to the office for 9 months.
Yeah, yeah. I heard that like the office was just shut down right before I got hired.
For 9 months. I didn't go to the office, Chris, for 9 months.
And
That's a long time.
Still made #1 team that year.
Yeah, well, sure, but it was due to the amount of collaborative and communication that we have. So if you're not talking to your team, like once again, they don't know what to do. And I would also encourage any viewers and listeners to study like being an effective communicator and maybe like think about what you're gonna fucking say before you say it. I talk to coaching clients and I've been this person myself and have these, conversations with colleagues. Is sometimes it's easy to share frustrations, and that's just not constructive. And I think that you need to really just think about your communication style and how you do it. How about this? The first If you ever start an email and says not to be an asshole, not to be a bitch, if that's how you open an email, you're being that way and you know it, just delete the fucking email. We used to have an office manager that started half our emails, not to be a bitch, but
Yeah.
that's not the way that you start something. And, you know, I was talking to another agent on our team, very productive agent who you and I both like a lot. And like when he has a tendency to like, if somebody comes at him wrong, then he lights them up on email or text. And I really like, you just like, if that's your personality, great. But I think, you know, reserve your energy in communications.
Well, and remove ego, right? A lot of times that
Remove
reaction.
ego.
Yeah.
Remove
But
ego.
I think it's also important because like you embraced a type of company that a lot of people were afraid of, which is that you have like, what would you say, 50, 60, 75% of your team is remote.
Yeah.
You know, and so communication with that, you know, with that side of the team is really important. Like, you know, I work almost entirely from home, but I always know exactly what I'm doing. And I think it's because we always have that back and forth at all times, where, you know, even using Monday is a form of communication, right? You have a very clear
It is.
list of, you know, these are the tasks that I expect and the due dates. And you have methods of like, you know, if you're stuck, you have a way to, you know, let people know. Yeah, I think it's communication and having that back and forth is just incredibly important, especially as your team gets bigger.
Yes. All right. How about number next?
Number next. Number this
Pro-
one.
Providing ongoing training and development. So, as a real estate leader, you know, I'm going to think about all these answers in two ways, both to the agents and to your staff. Okay, so providing ongoing training and development. So I believe in having, and I learned this from Mr. John Cheplack, is to facilitate this highly productive environment. Okay, here's the environment of productivity. A part of that is providing a ton of training. On the Sac Homes Group, we have minimum one training opportunity per day. Oftentimes two a day. We bring outside coaches. Right now we're paying Bill Pipes, who's incredible. Right now we're paying Brian Curtis, who's incredible. Was one of my first coaches in real estate, taught me half of what I know. That's me giving him credit, but shout out to Brian and shout out to Bill and John. Shout out to all these great coaches in my life. But we bring in these people and have them also coach the team, right? I'm fortunate enough that I get to travel nonstop for real estate. I'm on the forefront of a lot of what's happening, both as a coach and just an attendee in these rooms, a member of these rooms. And being able to share that with the team is providing ongoing training and development. If you think about it in an organizational, in a staff kind of way, that is more of a challenge. And as I look at this, I'm thinking like, what could we do for the staff for ongoing training and development? And instantly, as I say that out loud, something comes to my mind, and that's EOS, something I've never considered. So that's a business operating system. Mm-hmm. So maybe I'm just leaving verbal notes for myself as I'm talking, but ongoing training is important to me. And I think it's important for, if you're a leader in business, to provide it to every member of your organization.
Yeah. I mean, I know that my department's a little different, but you know, you've given me so many resources, and I think 100% that is why I've learned so much over, you know, the last 2 years on now that I've been with the company.
Well, I send you more than anybody else, except for the agents.
Yeah, but I think it's also because I'm open to it. I like learning, you know.
You're a student.
Yeah. Always have that mentality for that.
White belt mentality. I have it too, bro, right? no matter what, like that is a big part of my success. Okay, maintaining a strong reputation in real estate. In real estate leadership, how do you maintain a strong reputation? I think it's different than brand. So we're going to do reputation. This is going to be hard for you as you get bigger. It's just a numbers game. It's going to be harder for you as you have more agents. I think the way that you maintain a strong reputation is by really instilling the values in your agents, and it's not going to be easy as you grow. The best you can do is just have constant training about ethics, doing the right thing, not screwing people over. I think a good part of maintaining a strong reputation is having support for the agents and consumers when a challenge arises that could impact your reputation.
Here's a question for you. So think on that same line, right? Thinking about reputation, you think of like Universal Studios versus Disney, right? Which company do you expect to have like the better customer service? Like it's always going to be Disney. Like Disney has that reputation for having like that magical customer service. What do you think it is about the two companies? Like they're both in the same industry, like they're both in entertainment, they're both in, theme parks and that sort of thing. But why is it that one has more of that reputation for being just better in general?
So I don't know if it's better, but one makes cartoons and one doesn't. One makes stuff for kids and one really doesn't focus on that. I don't know. One's more wholesome because
Maybe it's tradition.
It's making fucking Mickey Mouse versus Jaws.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
Right. But customer service is a big part of your reputation. Being ethical in real estate transactions is a big part of your reputation. I like to think that we have a good reputation. I know that I have a lot of haters locally due to selling so many houses with Zillow. Maybe some reputation was impacted by there. Hopefully it wasn't. I don't know. We sold a lot of houses.
They can always come join.
As you grow, this will be hard. As you do more transactions, have more opportunities to tarnish your reputation, you have a harder time doing this. Start with the small stuff. Start with the right training. Start with, having support for the agents in these situations. But then, the small stuff, like start by like replying to reviews. And just really making an effort to do the right thing in the marketplace with consumers and with other agents. It's easy to make enemies in real estate. It's easy. And this is going to sound really similar to having a good reputation, but fostering a customer-centric approach. Number 7. You can stand out in the market if you prioritize the customer experience. Create the processes and policies to ensure customer satisfaction. We have emails, calls, follow-up calls. Management is available. I like to think that we get in front of people very quickly. Right after every first appointment with any lead that the team generates, which for our listeners and viewers is a lot every month, everyone gets an email from me asking how the experience is, and we follow up. And if there's anything that happens, we jump right on top of it. Right, and we encourage our agents to do the same. Something that's interesting in real estate is something that's real interesting in sales is if you focus on your consumers and past clients and make that as a main source of your business, you're going to have a much stronger business than someone who's always looking for the next new deal from somebody else. So when you lay that foundation to creating a great client who eventually turns into a referral partner, you do that by doing a fucking incredible job in servicing that client. That should be enough reason. How about the worst thing is if you do a bad job, well, you can lose your license to get sued because it's real estate. Or worse yet, if you work for me, then I'm going to have to go to court too, which has never happened yet. Knock on wood. I think my new desk is wood or plastic. I don't know. So that was number 7. Fostering a customer-centric approach. And for, like, determine who your customer is. I know this from Sam Cramy in a Big Block. There's the book written by the guy one of the Ritz Carlton people, Mike Love Service or some book like that. All right, number 8 on our top 10 things real estate leaders need to focus on in 2023. Something that I'm seeing is very important. And maybe needing to focus on is the wrong words, but let's just talk about something that you could focus on. Diversifying revenue streams. You are able to potentially reduce risk and increase stability by diversifying the company's revenue streams. Let's talk about exploring new business services that you could operate within the same business.
That support the same business.
That support. Yeah. And honestly, we have no shortage of those. Let's go ahead and talk about, if you own a real estate company, let's talk about some things that are easy to do. You can start property management. I don't know how filthy rich you're going to be on that, but you can put energy into it and get it going. Property management. Something that I've done is I have a real estate brokerage, which is one entity, and I have a real estate team, which is a different entity. Those are 2 different companies. So can you diversify there? Is it worth your time to diversify there? It's something that I found useful to myself at the time, and I'm still operating in that space, and I'm great with it. We recently opened our mortgage company, Motto Mortgage Essential, and that's fun, and that has a lot of potential. We're having solar conversations. If you're interested in more information about solar, our mortgage, just shoot me a DM and we can talk about that. But solar, we have the virtual assistants. I'm in coaching. We're doing courses. We have other products that we're working on nonstop. So within the same time and space and energy is something that I'm a believer in. I'm also a believer in the opposite, like instead of diversifying revenue, maybe double down. But let's think about doing one or the other. Either let's get broad or let's double down on what we're doing. I'm just a fucking maniac and I want to get broad and triple down on everything.
You're an idea person. You always have that next.
I also implement it though too. Like we're doing a podcast right now, so it's like different, like a speed to implementation. So that's something for you guys to think about. Number 8, diversifying revenue streams, and just kind of a little bonus, 8B. How about you just double down on shit that is working for you? Talk about 9, leading with integrity and transparency in real estate.
I think this is one super important because of the rap that real estate agents get.
Tell me about that.
Well, like, you see real estate agents on HGTV and, you see people, like looking for homes. Like I collect buttons on part-time. My budget's 2.3 million,
It's so weird.
Yeah. But you see this side of real estate agents, and I think people don't see the amount of work that goes on behind the scenes. And I think it's important to be, not just educate people, but be open about, if you're a brand new agent, especially, having that transparency that like, yeah, I am newer, but sometimes that's better, right? You're going to work harder. You're going to put in way more attention than somebody who's been doing it for 20 years and knows all of the ins and outs. There's pros and cons, but I think having that transparency about, your business in general, especially if you're a team leader, is just going to help you with, going back to with your reputation and that sort of stuff. So I think that's
I
important.
mean, here's the thing, is if you're leading, I don't know if I'm an expert, I'm only going to talk from my experience. If you're leading people, you have to be relatable. And as your organization grows and maybe become more successful, that can be really hard. And I think a way of being relatable is by operating in like a space of transparency, for sure.
Humanizing the company, right?
Humanizing, yeah. And also, I think it can be hard to be transparent as a leader, because you kind of do have to be on and fulfilling a role. And but the transparency is good. Yeah. I think that I probably do an okay job at that. I think a good way for me to be transparent, like an intentional way, is really share what's going on and not trying to sugarcoat anything. I don't think I sugarcoat anything ever.
No.
Professionally. I'll let, and I will share when I have a challenge. I was telling that we were doing call nights. I would say, okay, when you guys do the call night, I'm gonna do recruiting at the same time. And everyone came, and I sat in my office and I worked on something else instead. I'll get to it. I'll get to it. So I ultimately massively failed on that call night, but I owned it and I said, hey, look, I get that it's hard, right? Like, it's hard for everybody. I'm not special. It's hard for me too. Just depends on how bad you want something for that activity. Okay. The 10th, our first, depending which way we were counting, I forgot.
Right, yeah.
But there's definitely the last one of our 10 things that real estate leaders need to focus on to make 2023 their best year ever. Number 10, building strong partnerships and relationships. This is true all the time. And I'm going to go off now. There's two ways to look at this. And for the sake of this conversation, we're only going to talk about one of the two ways. But building strong partnerships and relationships, who do you align with professionally? Let's talk about other industry professionals that can support your business. Let's talk about strong relationships with clients that can support your business.
The community.
And strong relationships with vendors. What did you say?
Community.
30 minutes before this podcast, one of the first real estate clients I ever had invited me to his house for his New Year's Day party. I go every year for the last 8 years. And he just texted me. And that's a strong relationship with a past client. Jesse from Call Action just stopped by and brought me a bottle of wine on his way back driving to LA from Tahoe, stopping by San Francisco. Or I just posted it with him on Facebook and Insta. He just stopped by. That's a vendor I have an incredibly great relationship with, right? These relationships, people say that this is one of my superpowers. I don't know if I agree or not, but creating relationships in business, in life, is really part of what life's about. And locally, build relationships with the people that are going to open up the doors to more business. So, for example, your pastor or priest at your church, the head of the PTA, the head of the school board. Are you a member of this association? Not a real estate association, but something local. Build those relationships, get access to those groups. It'll help you do more business. HR companies locally, at hospitals. Every traveling nurse and doctor needs a house. So look at your Dream 100. Look at the people that you building a strong relationship equals more professional opportunities for you. And go after them. Go after them by recognizing who they are and being persistent until you get that face to face. Send them a bottle of booze. Shit. It's the easy way to get someone to call you back.
Everybody likes that.
Yeah, everybody likes that. Even sober people like the gift. And they make it so easy now.
Yeah.
Chris, what do you think?
I mean, I think it's important to just look at your local area and find the opportunities to, I think another way to put it is, what can you do for your community with what you do in your business?
100%.
Because if you're coming at it from a place of value and a place of wanting to help, doesn't matter. Everything else falls into place like that. I mean, not to say that you don't need the hard work and all that, but it's one of the pillars that you need in order to have a successful business that continues to grow, is having relationships with the community. We're in talks with the Sacramento Zoo, hopefully doing a video there because they're moving to a new spot. And
When are they moving? Is that real?
Yeah, so I think they officially got the okay. So we were supposed to shoot a video there, but COVID and timing, and they had a big a community, a franchise board or something over in Elk Grove, and they officially got the okay to build over there. So that now the zoo is officially in the process of getting the zoning and all the permits and stuff to actually build the zoo.
Cool.
Yeah, and so the idea was, the way that we had pitched it was that the zoo needs a new home and we sell homes. So that was the way that we were gonna kind of try and work with them. But oddly enough, the president of the Sacramento Zoo was a longtime cast member at Disney, like I was. So that was our moment of communication. Is just being able to touch on that. But I think just building those relationships is going to help your company in more ways than you could possibly see.
100%. Zig Ziglar quote: "If I help enough people get what they want, I'm going to get what I want." And I've been hearing that quote since I was a kid, and my dad used to play that. So thank you, everybody, for watching the top 10 things that real estate leaders need to focus on or think about in 2023. I really hope that one person out there got valuable information and ideas to help guide their decision-making in this upcoming year. The real estate industry is constantly changing, and I'm telling you, it's so important to stay up to date and be able to pivot and adapt. Focus on key areas: tech, communications, your clients, and you can position yourself for success and navigate any potential challenges. If you're watching this anywhere, follow, and subscribe. Leave a comment. If you got something out of it, I would love to hear a review. You can leave us a review. And I hope you have a successful and prosperous 2023. See you soon.